McCain slapped with devastating news he's desperate to hide after what he just did to Trump. Ever since Trump got into office, two-time failed presidential candidate John McCain's jealousy has been on full display, as he tirelessly continues to work behind the scenes to take Trump out. After fulfilling his role as America's most infamous traitor by officially killing the Obamacare repeal several weeks ago, McCain has grown increasingly cocky, as he continues to bask in the limelight of being the Democratic Party's breakout hero. But unfortunate for McCain, his antics in Washington, D.C. might finally be coming to an abrupt halt, after what a British spy just revealed about McCain's dark and illegal past. Liberals have been tireless with their barrage of fake news stories ever since Trump took office. The most infamous fake news story was when BuzzFeed and CNN used the fake dossier to push the nonsense that Trump hired two Russian hookers to pee on Obama's bed, which was later debunked. The fake dossier was compiled and put together by former British spy Christopher Steele and his London firm, who later sold it to Trump's political opponents. As two defamation lawsuits were just filed against Steele for his fake dossier on Trump, the former spy is now throwing John McCain under the bus, revealing the startling amount of involvement the senator to overthrow the President of the United States, which is a very serious federal crime that carries a 20-year prison sentence. According to court documents that just came out in court, lawyers for Steele reveal that McCain was one of the only people in Washington, D.C., who had copies of the full document before it was circulated among liberal journalists and then published by liberal media news site BuzzFeed. McCain will now be forced to leave D.C. in order to testify under oath about what he knew, and why he decided to spread fake news about Trump, as he was obsessive in his pursuits to get his grubby hands on the 35-page dossier. The Guardian reported. Senator John McCain faces questions in a defamation lawsuit about leaks leading to publication of the now infamous dossier that alleged Donald Trump's campaign had connections to Russian operatives, McClatchy has learned. The dossier, compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele and his London firm, Orbis Business Intelligence Limited, amounted to a collection of uncorroborated reports of collusion gathered as political research for sale to Trump's opponents. It proved explosive when published by online news site BuzzFeed on January 10. Now, two lawsuits, one in the United States and a second in the UK, are being brought by lawyers for Alexei Gubarev, a Cyprus-based internet entrepreneur whom Steele's Russian sources accused of cyber spying against the Democratic Party leadership. According to a new court document in the British lawsuit, counsel for defendants Steele and Orbis repeatedly point to McCain, Republican Arizona, a vocal Trump critic, and a former State Department official as two in a handful of people known to have had copies of the full document before it circulated among journalists and was published by BuzzFeed. The court document obtained by McClatchy confirms that Sir Andrew Wood, a former British ambassador to Moscow and a Russia advisor to former Prime Minister Tony Blair, discussed the 35-page dossier with McCain. The defendants considered that the issues were self-evidently relevant to the national security of the U.S., UK and their allies, the document says, explaining why Steele and his partner, Christopher Burrows, felt it necessary to share the dossier's findings. Wood had told Britain's The Guardian in January that McCain had reached out to him about the dossier, and had obtained it through other means. The court document confirms that Wood, Steele and former State Department official David Kramer decided together that new information gathered after the election should be shared with authorities in Britain and the United States. Working alongside foreign governments to overthrow the President of the United States as McCain has done is an extremely serious federal crime as spelled out in 18 U.S. Code 2385 that could land him 20 years in behind bars. Additionally, doing so is a violation of the Logan Act, as citizens are prohibited from negotiating with foreign governments in order to undermine our government. Add these illegal antics with the bombshell that came out several weeks ago exposing McCain's intimate ties with the London Bridge bomber, and it's completely asinine that this man has not been impeached by Congress. It's time that we the people demand that this idiot is removed from office. John McCain is nothing more than a domestic terrorist who is now garnering the sympathy of millions of Americans because of his recent cancer diagnosis. We seriously need to keep exposing this traitor before he dies and nauseating tributes are made about his service to our country. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.